Hey, Nina. Can you hear me?
Hi, James.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. I don't have my video on because I am just looking for parking really quick for my office.
Okay. Yeah, great.
I'm shocked that is this difficult to find parking. It's as if there is no coronavirus happening.
Are you
here.
serious?
Yeah. It's like I was here yesterday, ditto, and I thought maybe there was something going on, but I mean, I'm right next to the Capitol and the courthouse and all that stuff, but you'd think that it would be easier to find parking.
You would think.
It's exactly the same as it was in full-fledged business. It's no different.
Wow.
Well, maybe it is that people aren't paying for parking in the lots and they're all just taking up the free parking on the street. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, I have a bunch of people that I followed up with.
Well, we got a bunch on the call right now, Nina, as well. So welcome, everyone. And Nina, hopefully you'll find some parking and be able to join in with us as well.
Will shortly.
Great. We'll give folks a few more minutes here to get logged
And I
in.
invited some West Coast folks as well. So I know it's a little early for them, but hopefully they'll have their coffee and join.
Perfect. That would be great. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
I should mute myself, sorry.
Mark, what are you laughing about? Just kidding.
Joe, you don't want to know.
Are you private texting, Joe? Are you private texting?
Yeah,
Folks?
Mark and I are friends, so yeah, we're texting back and forth.
The rest of you don't want to know what I call Joe.
No, actually we do. Go ahead.
We're professing our love to each other.
Friend.
I know Shelly's joining here too. I'll text her. We're just on another meeting, so I know she's coming on.
Hello.
There you are.
Hey, Shelly.
Hi. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Oh, you must be Mark.
Me? I am.
Hi, Mark.
I just say, yeah, actually I should change my name on that, shouldn't I?
It says veteran.
Yeah. I could do
I
this
like it,
instead.
I like it.
What?
Goober.
Goober?
Oh, I like that too.
Oh, thanks.
It's funny to see how everyone's been cooped up and not surrounded by other people. And so the first chance we get is, let's goof off. Let's goof off.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. I like it.
I'm going to change mine to Shih Tzu lover.
You like Shih Tzus?
I love one Shih Tzu.
Oh.
Mine. He's in the room, so I can't be like, oh yeah, I love all of them. Right? He'd be like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, what? You care to explain yourself? Mark, I'm going crazy. Okay.
Amanda.
But Joe's my friend.
Okay, I'm gonna change mine to Shelly needs medication. How about that? Is that
wow, we're going off the rails quick.
already?
Are you willing to share?
Hi, Sandra.
Hello. How are you?
Sandra, what company are you with? May I ask?
It's a medical clinic, Castro Integrative Medicine.
Okay, thank you. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Please.
And John McLeod is here again. Hello, John.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome back.
311 Printing and
didn't scare
311
ya.
Productions.
No, I'm not scared yet. No.
We didn't scare you away last week.
Well, you almost did. I had to get away from the yellow background that I had with Shelly, and now I'm back at my place. So
Okay.
Good. I like your
hope-
place better.
hopefully, it didn't scare you guys off. I was like, what the hell was the yellow background all about?
No, if you were going to scare us off, I have a list of things.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
And
Yeah,
there's
you-
someone
you-
else. There's someone else who has joined via phone. I can't see the name.
Yeah,
So
Hello, I'm Hannah Bowker with Rock Creek Innovations. I'm filling in for Penny.
gotcha.
Hi, Hannah.
Welcome.
Great.
Hi,
Welcome.
how are y'all? I had to join by phone because I am gonna have to jet off around like 12:40ish. So I just wanted to let you know. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. We're glad you were here at all.
Yeah, definitely
Thank
glad
you.
you're here. We'll record this like we did the last one and try to get it uploaded to YouTube and share it too if you want to review, or if anybody else, if you want to share this as well. So that'll be available.
Yeah, and our intent here is just to be able to help as much as we can. So if you have to leave early, that's completely fine. If you have anything to add, that's amazing as well.
Yeah. All
I
right.
add sarcasm really, really well. Just to let you know.
So we'll
Great.
just wait a few more minutes if everybody's okay with that, and then we'll get started.
Sounds good.
I will say that I'm glad it's not raining today. I do find that the situation that we all find ourselves in, I think, is a little more challenging when there's a lot of rain. And I appreciate that it's spring, but oh, I love it when it's sunny and warm.
In Goochland, it was snowing yesterday. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
You're lying.
No,
We
it's
had
true.
sleet yesterday morning.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Wow.
it's true.
Yeah, Shelly and Joe Mike told me yesterday that they had a little bit of snow yesterday morning when he was walking Charlie around the neighborhood.
Wow.
I was like, crap, I missed that.
So perhaps what I'm learning here is I should exit the house more. Is that what? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
No, if it was gray, I didn't care.
Just to forewarn you, I've got both of my kids here today. They're doing their online schooling. So
Okay.
I've told them to hang back there for a little while, but if you see anybody running behind me with a knife, it's completely normal. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, so don't call the cops.
Now don't worry about it. It's all good.
But if they have a hatchet, are we supposed to call the cops then?
Right.
If they have a hatchet, please call the cops. I don't know where the hell they got that from.
Everybody's going to be auto-muted.
I can vouch for the knife.
Everyone should be auto-muted here once you get started, just to keep it easy. My wife is painting and working on the house at the same time. So if you hear hammers or, whatever, that's her. Also, we all have office pets. I cannot, my cat is sitting right here, but she loves to come up and just do this. So she may make an appearance, but that's just the new way of life that we'll have to deal with.
Yeah, my dog's around here somewhere. She'll sneak in here in a second and see what's going on.
Marguerite, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for the invite. Nina Schroeder invited me. Is she on here?
Yes.
She is. Yeah, she was finding parking, so I think she's getting logged in through her computer at this point, I think.
Cool.
I'm trying to.
Do you want us to wait for Nina? Hi, Marguerite.
Hello.
Hey, Marguerite.
Hi. Thanks for the invite.
You're
I
welcome.
think everybody's on.
All
Yep,
right.
I think we're good. All right, well, then we'll go ahead and get started. Is that okay with you, James?
That sounds good.
All right. I'm Shelly Perkins, and on behalf of Nina and James and Joe, really just want to welcome you to our Lunchbox and Learn series. I didn't fix my lunch. I was doing something else, so probably going to get hungry during the thing. I hope you have some food. So for those of you that are new, just to give you a little background, Gig Strategic and Wabash and Lake Advertising have partnered up on a lot of other projects, and we share some clients, and this relationship has been developing over the last couple years or so. And so this series is a result of our need to work together and share with you some of our knowledge to help you strengthen your brands through messaging and digital presence. And we hope that you will get a lot out of this series. We really want you to be able to reach out and maintain your potential and willing customers following these unprecedented times. So last week's topic was Google, was the importance of Google My Business, and the importance of getting everything that you can out of it. It was primarily led by Joe, who's the owner of Wabash and Lake. It is available, as was just said a few minutes ago, by James, and I'm going to go ahead and send out the links for the emails that I have, and then Nina, if you could send the link to the other couple, and we're going to post it and all that jazz. So today we're going to talk about reviews, the importance of them, how to make sure that you're asking people to give them to you, and throughout the process, if you have any questions, feel free to use the icon on the side to raise your hand. But we will stop periodically because we do have a couple people on the phone and see if there's any questions. And just to follow up from last week, whoever you got the invitation from, if you have follow-up questions, we want to make sure that you understand that we're here for you following this next 50 minutes and are happy to discuss any questions that you have. Okay, so thank you, and I'll turn it over to James.
Right. Thank you, Shelley. I'm going to mute everybody, and I will, let's see. So everybody should be muted except for me. Now, if you want to talk, I think you can press your space bar on a desktop, and that will unmute you if you hold it or wave around. Yeah, and I'll unmute you. We definitely want this to be conversational, but just because we know kids and pets and all of that happening, just to cut down on some of the background noise. We are recording this like we recorded last week, and we want to make it available. I would also like to say that if you have any requests for information, if there's anything you're struggling with as a business owner and you want to know about how to do something better in the digital space or in the branding space of your business, we definitely would welcome that as well to help inform these. We want to keep these going as long as they're helpful for folks as we're sitting and not maybe some of us able to work in our businesses the way we used to or as much as we used to. We can still be working on our businesses and making things, doing some things to help improve them. So I'm gonna, okay, hey, can everybody see that? Just nod, yes, if you can. My screen has changed, I hope. Did everybody see my screen change? I'm assuming that's a yes. Okay, so Gig Strategic, as Shelley mentioned, our vision is to empower every business owner to best understand, manage, and benefit from their online presence. So that is our mission, helping you to be able to be found online. We do have, Joe shared some of the clients they're working with last week. I wanted to go ahead and share some of our clients, and it's mainly to say that we work with a variety of verticals, and so the information that we share and the expertise we have from the past decade of working in the digital marketing space has been is wide, and a lot of these things will apply to your business. Most of these things will, it's to emphasize the range of verticals we work with, and the strategies that we're going to be discussing can apply to almost any small business is the point of that. All right, I lost my mouse. I left my mouse at home, so I'm without a mouse, and so I feel like a little bit out of my element. So I wanted to talk about what is online presence briefly, just some definitions, some ideas of what that is in case you're wondering. It's kind of thrown around out there. So a web presence is, the collective existence online of your company. So it could be called your digital visibility or your digital footprint, and it could be any existence of your business the way that people see it online. Could be your website, social sites, directories, listings, reputation, ratings, and reviews. And that's kind of what we're going to be getting into right now today. Hey, Nina, can you do me a favor? Can you try to unmute and press your space bar? And I want to see if you can hear me. If I force everybody, okay.
Yeah.
You can talk. Okay. So if you have questions as we go through this, I'm going to try to be thorough in talking about ratings and reviews. But if you have questions, please unmute. Let me know as we go through. Definitely want to be conversational with this. So why reviews? Why are they important and how to best get them? To start, I wanted to share some stats for you. So those of you that may be wondering, are reviews important? I think the fact that you're here, you probably do understand that they're important. A lot of business owners, as I've been meeting with business owners over the past years, I've met with hundreds of them, and almost every business owner, when we say to them, you know, how do you get your customers? Where do you get most of your customers from? They tell us word of mouth. That's like their favorite. And number one, they're usually telling us that because they don't want to spend any money on advertising. So they're just like, oh, it's all coming from word of mouth. Like, we don't need to spend money on advertising and marketing. As advertisers and marketers, you know, of course, we know that we can definitely help drive more customers. And, you know, this idea has changed. You know, the old idea of word of mouth is definitely very different. And you can see in the bottom left here, the person holding the telephone. I mean, mobile search has become so popular now. Most search, it passed 5 years ago, probably past desktop as far as searches go. And so in the palm of our hands, we have the ability to get that word of mouth, quote unquote, about a business. So our reputation is very accessible. It's all over the internet. So now the way people are getting that word of mouth is looking at ratings and reviews. How important are these? They're very, very important. And you can see here, 88% of consumers, they trust their online reviews as much as personal recommendations. 72% of consumers say that positive reviews make them trust a local business more. Nearly 9 in 10 consumers have read online reviews. So you can see the data definitely, this is from 2014, so it's like 6 years old, and it has done nothing but change. This chart actually goes through 2017, showing comparison of local review sites. So cumulative growth of reviews has increased over time. And we see that Facebook was really one of the early platforms for this, and Facebook has actually changed. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yelp as well, but Google has just launched since 2016. And with Google My Business, it's really grown and grown, like Joe talked a lot about last week. And it's a main platform for where people are leaving reviews and looking for reviews. Again, some more data points here. Usually they're especially influential with younger consumers. And these reviews and ratings have an outsized impact on certain businesses, such as local firms. So as local business owners, a lot of times it's even more important that we have that those reviews and that positive review. This is an interesting one. People get concerned about having a 5-star review, and do you have to have a 5-star review? The minimum star rating a business must have for people to use them, according to a local consumer survey in 2017. This was, you know, basically if you have 3 out of 5 to 4 out of 5, you're going to be getting, the majority of people will still work with you. So we want to make sure that we do at least have a 3 and hopefully as close to a 5 as possible. One of the funny stats that I have seen is that especially with millennials, they don't trust a 5-star review. If you have a bunch of reviews and it's only a 5-star, they start to think that's a little fishy. So they want like a 4.8, 4.9 will actually have a better conversion than a 5-star because it just doesn't feel right. So nobody expects perfection with reviews. So, you know, we want to be realistic with it. So 5-star is great. It's definitely what we want to shoot for. But you can see that even if you have a 3 or 4-star, you're going to be getting, there's still a lot of consumers will still feel comfortable working with a business. And one of the reasons is for improving your reviews is that it does boost your SEO. So search engine optimization can be improved by reviews. And there's a few different ways that can happen, and I'm going to go into that in a minute. Top 10 review sites. This is a chart showing some of the top 10 review sites out there, starting with Google My Business, as we know, is #1. Facebook number 2. Some of these are more industry specific. So if you're like Amanda, I think like with your business, TripAdvisor, you probably have ratings and reviews for TripAdvisor that maybe a medical clinic wouldn't, but they might have a medical clinic was going to have a more industry specific site that would have ratings and reviews associated with that vertical. So there are definitely industry specific sites, but these are some of the top sites for reviews. All right. So first, as we move next into some of the pro tips, I'm going to give 4 or 5 different tips on how to best handle reviews, how to get reviews, how to respond to reviews. But the very first thing that we want to do, I had somebody ask me a while ago, they were saying, if you wanted to get to California, what's the first thing you need to know? And I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, you need to know where it is. Maybe I need a map, I need to know, how to get there. Am I going to use a bus? Am I going to use a train? Started making me think all these different things. But what they finally said is the first thing you need to know is where you are now, okay? Before I can get anywhere, I need to know where I am right now. So I think this is important. Do you know what your current reputation is online? There are several different tools out there. There are several different ways to check this. Going to those top 10 places, searching for your business and checking manually is one way, just to see what does my business look like online? What is my online reputation? So where am I now? Before I can figure out where I'm going, I want to know where I am now. We have a tool that we offer through our company for our clients, and we do things like this word cloud, and it gives an idea for one of our clients here, Hospice of the Piedmont. You can see some of the big words in green show that these words came up a lot in different reviews, and then the smaller words were smaller that didn't come up as much. And then the red and the blue can be depending on the negative, or if it's a sort of like a 3-star review with a work environment showing as blue. So anyway, it's just a way to start to analyze and look at your current reputation. Where am I now? Understanding maybe some of the industry averages, and some of that can give you a good idea of where you are now. So the reason I'm mentioning this as well, and showed this one here, it reviewed on your business on Indeed.com. This 5-star review, great review, and they hadn't responded to it, so they didn't know that this happened. And so this is one where if we don't even know that this review, so maybe we don't check Indeed, maybe we're not checking other review sites, and we don't even know that somebody has left a review. So we want to monitor the various review sites and understand what our current online reputation is. The next pro tip, number 2, is ask for reviews. Okay, so this is pretty obvious, I think, but it's one of those where we maybe don't do it as often. So I've been looking more into this with asking for reviews. We have tools where you can do this in bulk through a customer list. That is frowned upon by some of the review sites. So we want to be careful with how we do this, because the last thing we want to do is get penalized by any platform. So the best way to do it would be, I'm seeing a chat, making sure I'm not missing anything. Is there a compilation of places to go to see if we've been reviewed? Yes, there are definitely tools out there. We offer a tool. We do a snapshot report for all of our clients where we actually scrape, and we will go out there and find, and we scrape a bunch of different review sites to see what there are. And there are a bunch of tools out there. Some of them you can even get for free to just for an initial test to see. So doing it manually is one way to go. I would definitely manually look at those top 10 that I showed a second ago. Any of them that you're familiar with, or maybe the review sites that you've used. Make sure your business is there, number one, but then definitely check. So there are definitely tools that you can use to do that. So back to asking for it. How do I do it in a way that's natural, that is, that's not contrived? The best way for digital The whole process has been about trying to get to a place of authenticity, because the internet is a place that can be kind of, we just don't really know if it's real sometimes or if it's true. And so people may be leaving reviews. They may be robots, they may be family members, people were paying for reviews, and so a lot of the review sites are very careful with this. They explicitly will tell us a lot of times not to do that. So we shouldn't, some places, and this is going to be your own business decision how you want to handle this, but I would just say to be careful about asking for reviews in exchange for something. So like, 10% off your next visit if you review our site, that is something people do. I would be cautious with it, just because I think as long as you don't say, I'll give you 10% off if you give us a 5-star review, but if you're just saying for a review, you could probably get away with it, and how would they know and things like that. But I'm just telling you what some of the things I've read as far as ways to ask for a review. I've done these emails. I have a template that we use, and we do push them out. Having read some things recently, I would be careful with this, that I don't want to send them out to 500 of my past customers that haven't been to my business for 3 years. I want to be maybe doing them in small buckets, because if you get a bunch of reviews all at once, Google gets a little nervous about stuff like that. Like, they're careful with it. They think it's fishy. So you have to be careful with asking for it. And I will say right now, amidst what's happening with COVID-19, Google has suspended reviews, and they've done this to protect consumers. And so right now, if I was sending out, I may not request a Google review right now, because even though I do think there's a lot of goodwill right now for small businesses, apparently there were some consumers that were upset with small businesses for not being open, for not providing services. And so they were starting to leave bad reviews. And so Google shut that down to protect small businesses. I tested this yesterday. I left a review for a business that I've worked with that I got my glasses from, a local eye doctor, and it did in fact not get posted. So Google has not posted it, even though it was a 5-star review. So I don't know, it says they're delayed, so I don't know how long it may take for those to get posted. I see this, that somebody's asking that a lawyer had advised them to remove the ability on Facebook for people to submit reviews, at least temporarily. I would definitely do whatever the attorney suggested. I'm definitely not an attorney. Facebook reviews have changed as well. They do recommendations now. So the thing with all of these, with everything online, is that it's a dynamic space, and so it's always changing. So you can't go and leave a 5-star review on Facebook anymore. You can leave a recommendation for a business, and so you can type out a recommendation and either recommend or not recommend a business. But it has that has changed. Go ahead, Joe.
I'll hop back on for a second. Something we're doing with our clients too is it's the art of the face-to-face. So a couple of our clients have a lot of WG Speaks, heating and air conditioning here in Richmond. They service 350, 400 clients a week at times. There's a lot of opportunity for a lot of positive reviews, and they've been around for a long time, and they have an amazing reputation. So not everybody participates, but what we've been asking them to do is we actually printed out little business cards that all of the techs have with them. And it says, we would be honored to get a review from you. We put our best foot forward. We appreciate if you would do the same. And on that, it just has, literally search for us on Google, plain and simple, but also face-to-face. Another one of our clients has a lot of face-to-face business, and simply through Google My Business, we've asked all of the front desk, the salespeople, I don't call them salespeople, but the consultants that work with them, on their phone, they have access to Google My Business for the company, only as a user, not as a manager. And through Google My Business, they can say, face-to-face, they can talk to the person they were just working with and say, would you mind if we ask for a review? and they can literally text it to them, email it to them directly, phone to phone, face to face. And the person who receives it right there says, oh, I'd be honored to, no problem. And they do it right there on the spot. And that's another amazing way to get those reviews right there from real people in real time. It's something else we've been working with people on.
Yep. That's a great point, Joe. And I think, asking for it right there at the time of service or when they're leaving, or, how many times has somebody said, man, I really appreciate you doing this for us. And then, it helps our business. They say, what can we do to help you? Sometimes they'll be that, they want to help our business. And we say, we have to say, hey, would you mind leaving a review? And then, send it to them right there, recency, top of mind. And
we
so
call it the honeymoon phase. It was referred to as the honeymoon phase. If you've had good service, you feel good for, might be 90 minutes, might be a day and a half, but be aware of your honeymoon phase in your business. After you've worked with them or they've received the service or attended a seminar, whatever it might be aware of the honeymoon phase and be sure to reach them in the right way and acknowledge the moment they just shared with you. The more real you can be about it, the more real a review you'll get as well.
Yep.
I'm turning my camera back off.
So I think that oops. I was checking for, looked like we had another chat. So I'm checking that real quick. Google review more powerful than Facebook? I would say right now it is. I mean, you could see in that chart the how Google My Business has taken off, and it has definitely dominated a lot of things within SEO. So I would say right now Google reviews are more powerful than Facebook. Overall, I would say that. Facebook is definitely powerful in the social world, and it's kind of becoming there's more competition within the social space as well, within Instagram and other social platforms, so that Facebook is kind of flagging to some extent. But it's I would definitely say Google is more powerful, especially for search as well, even though social is incorporated into search results. Google My Business reviews, I think, are definitely.
And if I may chime in on that too, as we touched on last week, Facebook is limited. I mean, they're huge, but they're still limited. Instagram, huge, but still limited. Google is the #1 place where, most internet traffic goes through Google in one way, shape, or form in some capacity. And if you're going to focus on one thing, I would focus on Google. They're the elephant in the living room. And so be aware of where your customers are finding you as well. If Facebook is important, then yes, use both of them. If you don't have much of a presence there, don't worry about it as much. But if I had to choose, I would choose Google as well.
And then there was a question about how do you request from the platform, which platform. So I would use a CRM tool, and some of the CRMs probably have some sort of integration with a that would send out for us. We have a tool that we use called Customer Voice, where we put in our CRM, or we link it, input our CRM data into it. Like right afterwards, we can add a customer, and we have these templates. And within the template, I can choose which site I want to send them to. And within our software, we actually have a template where if they're logged into their browser as a Google user, with a Gmail address, it'll automatically take them to Google so that and it'll automatically pull up the review widget for them to do their review right through Google. So it's going to be partly in your emails that you use to point them to which review site you want them to leave the review in. And so I have 3 listed here in this email that I send out to clients and so on. But I'm going to change this, because this was back when Facebook, so people can still recommend us, which I appreciate, even though I don't even know if I have any recommendations. So this is, again, too, I need to be proactive with this myself. This is definitely something that everybody can work on for sure. So let's see from here. Okay. I started getting fun with my with these titles because I thought it's noon and people are going to start. I'm going to start losing people. So there's my fly-in pro tip number 3: increase the number of sources. So this is important because you know, there are a lot of review sites out there. And the thing is, I tell clients is if, you know, we want to increase the number of sources. Now, as Joe is saying, you know, Google, definitely the king. That is where the vast majority of people are searching. They're going to be seeing us. But there are other sites out there where people might see us. And even though traffic may be lower, we definitely want to be on those sites. And if I have a if I have one star review on a site, what's my average review score for that site? Anyone? You can put up the number. If I have a 1-star review and I only have 1 review on that site, what's my average? It's 1. If I have a 1-star review on some site out there and it's sitting there, it's a 1-star review. That's going to be what my average score is. So that's why we want to have as many of these sources out there with at least a 5-star. It gives us a little bit of protection, insurance against that 1-star review that somebody may find on some obscure site. So, you know, ideally we want to have our have 5-star reviews on as many different sources as possible. Yeah, I do believe that there is some aggregation onto other sites from, you know, that's a great question. And I don't know, somebody's asking here if some sites are aggregated as far as if I leave a review on one site, will it get moved across onto other sites? And I think there are some aggregations like that. And I'm not sure exactly how that works, to be honest, but yeah, it's possible. And did somebody else have in the wedding biz, for example, you're saying that Wedding Wire shares with the Knot. Exactly. Yeah, there may be a review source. We see that with directory listings. Yep, Expedia. So they may be capturing and aggregating those reviews, pulling them in from whatever source, Google My Business or wherever they're pulling those reviews in, just like other data. So we have a question here. Is it free to host a page on Google and collect reviews? Yes, you can. Anybody can and should have a Google My Business set up, period. We talked about that last week, and we can send you that, Marguerite, if you would like to review that. Joe did a great job last week talking about the importance of Google My Business. And yes, it is free to set up all of these review sites. It's free to set them up, and that's one of my requests. One of the things that I would suggest at the end that I'll talk about. So let's see, we've got another question on, and Marguerite, we'll get back to that a little bit at the end. Isn't Indeed a looking for a job site? Yes, Indeed is people looking for a job, but you know, same with Glassdoor. A lot of times it's you know, those are people that are consumers, that are potential employees, right? So even with that, we do want to make sure that our businesses are being reviewed, and because they also have SEO, they do come up in search engine results. So if my business is, if I've been not great with my employees and they're leaving bad reviews on Indeed or Glassdoor, you know, would you want to work with a company that, you know, doesn't treat its employees well, you know, has a bunch of negative reviews about their employees? So even though I think that it may be an industry specific or a employment site, it's still an important place where we want to have good reviews if possible. So definitely the number of sources I would increase. So yes, with these folks, they're also doing a lot of recruitment. So if, you know, for them, it's super important that Indeed and Glassdoor have good reviews, right? Because they're trying to recruit new employees and they want to get good employees. So whether we're looking for customers or employees, it's important. All right. Next. So this was a client here, and this is looking at responding to every review. And this is super important. And the reason I use this one specifically, I love this review. I mean, this person, Carolyn Merrick, she wrote this long review here, and you know, it's a great company, but she spent time and energy, right, doing this. This was like something that you know, she wanted to share this. This is like an evangelist for your business. This is somebody that really cares, right? I mean, even me, if I love a business, I am not going to write a paragraph about them. I may say, hey, great job. Like even with the eye doctor, I said he was great. The exam went well, and he recommended some good glasses, you know, so it's pretty simple like that to answer. Well, this person put a lot of time into this. And so response from the owner right there, right afterwards. Hey, thank you for that incredible review. Then the other one, even the short one, great company, work was done sooner than expected. Boom, right there. Thank you for taking the time to write a review, and thank you very much for your business. So responding to every review, it's conversational, and it helps improve. It's just a good practice to do, is to respond to every review. All right.
Yeah, and if I may, that's one of our clients as well, Window Depot. And James is exactly right. Google especially likes it because Google rewards real people. Even if you're a big, large company with thousands of employees and thousands of clients, they want to see that one-on-one because it's about the customer experience. Your customers, your potential customers, are still one person on the other side of their phone or their device. They're not a room of 100,000 people. And so the more you treat those people individually, the more they reward you. The more they also keep tabs on them too. They'll say that this business is most likely to respond quickly. Like, oh, well, that's good to know. If I want to do business with them, they respond quickly. Okay, that's very interesting. The other side of this too is with Window Depot, we coach them, and they're 100% on board with it, that they're aware of the honeymoon phase for your windows. It's not the afternoon. So if they do windows in your house and they're done by 3 o'clock, or they put a new front door in and they're done by 2:30 that day, they're not going to hit you that afternoon. They're not going to hit you that night. They make sure to do it the next morning because we've discussed it and looked at the customer experience, where those customers, yeah, they've had a rough day. They might be home from work. Like, wow, this is nice. The sun's setting out. I've got to make dinner. I've got to get through the rest of my life. But that next morning, they get up and they see the door like, oh, that's really nice. They look out those windows. Huh, those are really nice windows. The view's amazing. That's the time we want to hit them. So we hit them that following morning and ask for the review when that honeymoon phase is prime. And we, as you can see there, we tend to get pretty good reviews with that sort of process.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And you know, the other thing is as we're trying to get customers, we want to become human, right? We're all ones and zeros until we respond, you know, until we respond, we're starting to show our humanity. We're showing that we're a real person. And so that's the other piece of it too, that's so important is, you know, is this a real person? You know, and people like to get the shout outs. People like, you know, when you respond now, it's validation to them as well. So it's super important to do that. With responding to every review. Here is even negatives, and this I say with care. And so there are times I've worked with clients and they'll contact me and they'll be like, well, how do we respond to this? And this, sometimes you need like a PR agency, right? But this is public, and we want to make sure that we put our best face forward. So I definitely suggest responding to negatives, but doing it in a way that is you know, your voice, your tone. I would recommend, if you're going to do it, to even maybe have somebody else that you know that's a little more like an intuitive person, or somebody that you know that could read it before I post it and just say, yeah, this is going to reflect our company well. Because people don't expect perfection. They know that they're going to make mistakes. You're not going to make everybody happy every time, but our response can be, we have found that responding to a negative review can sometimes have a better impact on somebody wanting to do business with us than just having 5-star reviews, okay? Because they want to see that you're a real person, and how do you respond when there's a mistake? How do you respond when things get, when they have, if somebody has a bad experience? So here we've got, the food was nasty and overpriced. That one's a tough one, but they did respond. My experience with this one over here, we get the response from the owner, and it's compassionate. We understand how you're feeling. We're really sorry about this. We want to make things right. We welcome the chance to talk about you. How can we improve? We want to know, how can we improve? And sometimes you may get the person to change the review. And this is my favorite one here, because sometimes people just don't even know. People do read the reviews, even if it's a 1-star or something. This person left a 1-star review and they meant to leave a 5-star review. I would very highly recommend this person, but they left a 1-star review. So we know people, it's not perfect. People make mistakes within this even. So I think I don't know if the owner responded to that one or not, but I would definitely suggest that you do and say, hey, thank you so much. It looks like you meant to give us a 5-star review or something like that. Some key takeaways, and then we'll do a little Q&A here. What can I do today? I wanted to think about, like, if I'm going to walk away from here as a business owner, this afternoon, what are some things I can do? And this goes back to what Marguerite was asking about, check the top review sites. Do I have a listing? Do I even have my business listed there or not? Has my business listing been claimed? Logins. This is what I see all the time. We have somebody maybe that we acquired the business from, or that used to work at the front desk, and maybe, or there was an office manager and they handled our review sites, and now we can't find the logins. So I try to get the business owners to make sure that they maintain like a universal business Gmail address that they can use for logins. Something that you can control and keep private, keep it protected, but just, can you even access these different review sites? I would try to get control of these, because it's important for you to control your information and your reputation. Go back through and look, have you gotten any reviews that you found out there as you do this and you're looking through these sites, and respond to them, even if they're up to about 3 months old. It's better late than never for some of these. Over 3 months, it might be a little, too far back to really make a meaningful response. But with your discretion, think about your recent reviews and responding to all of them. And then today, something we could do is ask for reviews from 3 to 10 of our best customers. Reach out personally, send a text with a link or an email, and just, hey, I was learning more about the importance of reviews, and you had mentioned your experience and you'd love to help us out. We'd really appreciate if you could leave us a 5-star review. So you don't have an Indeed account. Should we create one just for this? I would say yes. And one of the reasons, and I didn't get into this earlier, but these are high domain authority websites. Indeed.com is a high domain authority website. When I build a business listing on Indeed or any other of these high domain authority websites, I link it to my website, right? And whenever I'm linking websites to my website, that's called backlinks, or your backlink profile. Any backlinks pointing to my website can help boost my domain authority, and that helps me with my search engine optimization, or SEO. So that's something that, as many different sites as I can have that are linked and pointing to my website, especially high domain authority sites like Indeed.com, I think it makes sense to have your name, address, phone number, website, that data, that information pointing to you. It legitimizes you as a business and can help your SEO. How do you check sites for reviews? Just Google your business name. I think that's probably that's a smart way to do it. Think about how my customer is finding me. So maybe pick 5 different search engines and search for your business, and see if or search for, even generic keywords for your business, and see what sites are coming up, what people are saying. How is a customer possibly finding me? How do you look for businesses when you search online? And so I would definitely do that. Google your business name. And if you see some negative out there sites, That's definitely a good recommendation. Thank you, Sandra. So those were the what can I do today, and then that's the end of my part of the presentation. So I'd like to open it up to any other questions we might have or any other comments at this point.
I've got one really quick. So, just touching on what you just brought up there about the reviews. If you post on social media or you have someone who posts for you, they're always looking for content. And as we touched on last week, Google My Business asks you, they're basically social media light for businesses. And so people are always asking, what should I post? What should I post? And specifically with Window Depot, what we've been doing is actually, we've got a little graphic made. And when someone leaves a good 4+ star review, we copy, paste that into a template. It's Instagram sized or Facebook sized, and use that as content to post. Because what are people looking at Google My Business? What are they looking at Google for? They're looking to see your reviews. So we double down on that content. They're going to see, oh, they're 4.9 stars. And then, oh, look, there's a post with an actual review. We just chum the waters with that positivity. And it's not a bad thing to post up in your social media too. Like, look, we got another amazing another amazing review. We're so happy to receive this. Thank you so much. That just shows that extra humanity that James was talking about a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, another thing that reminded me of too is that if you want to, there's a lot of tools out there. We offer them to our clients. There are review widgets that you can put on your website. So you've probably seen those as well, where you can have a widget on your website that actually requests a review, like in the footer maybe, or on some place on your website where people can actually go, and you could send people to that page as well to leave a review directly there. And then you can also, within the content of your website, I'm sure you've seen this as well, people will have basically, it will pull in their reviews onto their website as well. You can definitely do that. I would be cautious with that because, it's great if you have all good reviews. You get that one bad review that comes in and it's been sitting on your website for 3 days or 5 days and you don't even know it's there.
Most of the widgets actually, they now allow you, they've all modified for just that reason, where you can set 4 stars and above. So those widgets, they've realized what James was just talking about, and so you just set the little filter 4 stars and above, and it'll automatically post. So that's one way to, if you don't have that in place, make sure you look into that setting. It's definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, and we do have, if you're interested, we do offer free snapshot reports. It's on our website. If you wanted to go to gigstrategic.com, we can definitely provide that. We do provide free information on reviews and things like that. Joe, I know you work with some good platforms that you like for reviews. Do you want to share that, or is that?
Yeah. So the probably the best one, and they are pricey, but when you look into the cost of it for your business, it really isn't that bad. It's Podium. Podium. Podium is partially owned by Google, 21%, I believe. So they have a direct link to your Google review. They're the easiest and best to work with. And they, with WG Speaks specifically, we brought Podium on board to accelerate the reviews. Briefly, they were just about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, they were at 1.3 stars and 13 reviews. And they've been around for 80 years in Richmond. You cannot tell me that is accurate. So we brought Podium in to help facilitate getting reviews faster. And they have a process for it. And they coach your staff on how to get them, and they give you those tools. They're built well for WG Speaks because they have 300 plus customers per week. And now they've gone up to, I think their reviews are, last I looked, 200 plus and 4.7 stars, 4.8 stars. So we've definitely made an impact there. Some companies just don't need them. But we work with Elite Tire and Auto up and down Central Virginia, they worked with Podium, but then they realized that their POS system in all the stores now offered review generation as part of their part of what they subscribe to. So we consulted with them and said, you don't need Podium anymore. And so they don't use them anymore, and they still get the good reviews, and they're able to select who they want to use, if it's Yelp, if it's Google, if it's Facebook, all the above. So there are a lot of new tools that open up, but Podium is the big dog in the field right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one. And like I said, we have a free, like a light version that you can use in a dashboard through Gig Strategic that provides some information there. But we definitely, I would suggest working with somebody to get at least know what your reputation's like. Be listening. There's a lot of listening tools out there. We include those as well within our packages for our clients. But they're monitoring and scraping for different to see if anybody's, we're talking about reviews here, but somebody could say bad things about our business in other ways besides just reviews, or they could be posting information about us in an article or in something else that we maybe don't see, or a social post or a tweet or something like that. So we'd have other listening tools. So reputation management can go beyond this, but today focusing really on just the reviews, it's important. I hope you all will see that it is important, that people are going. That is word of mouth today, is definitely looking at reviews and seeing what people are saying about our businesses, how they feel about us. And then that helps, it determines whether or not people will work with us, So any other questions?
Just a comment that this was awesome. Loved it.
Oh,
Thank you,
thanks, Mark.
Appreciate
Love you. Know this, folks. Joe and I, we're good friends. Very
Make
good
sure you
friends.
write a review, Mark.
I already have here. I already gave him one. I told him that I told him that we blow smoke up his skirt that he's wearing right now, and he said he'd use that.
He literally just sent us one while we're talking, and so copied and pasted it, and we're going to use it. So thank you.
There, nice.
It's
there
fun.
You go. Very good. Well,
the next
Shelley,
one that comes around. Oh, I was going to say, next time this happens, next week, let me know, and I'll post it out to a few other folks as well.
Most definitely, yes.
We
Nina's hand is raised.
Yes, go ahead, Nina.
Unmute yourself.
I was going to ask a question about YouTube. I didn't see anything in that summary, but thinking about this series as an example, when you're promoting your business on YouTube, or you're doing a learning series as this is, I noticed, like, for instance, with this series, I watched the last week's on the web, on the YouTube, and I liked it, and I didn't leave a review. I just liked it and I subscribed. And is that something that is relevant, helpful? Is that something we all should be doing for this series? Or if we have something for our own businesses and we're putting a channel together, how relevant is YouTube in all of this discussion?
YouTube is becoming more and more relevant. Video content is definitely super important and is becoming more and more important. So I think anything like that, where we're engaging with content, that we're sharing it, that we're liking it, that we're any kind of engagement with any content out there, is definitely going to benefit the visibility of that, whoever's providing that content. So yes, like, subscribe. Podcasting is a new one. I think there are now, they say, more podcasts than there are people. So there are, there's definitely a lot of content being generated, and definitely any engagement with it is always beneficial. So making your content easy to share, to like, to subscribe to things like that definitely helps.
Yeah, and Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is, James, correct me on this, but I believe they're the #2 search engine, quote unquote, not really a search engine, but they're the number 2 place where people search for something on the internet. So if the tools they're asking you to use are likes and subscribes, then that is their ranking system.
So should we expect to see something in the morning after we see our video to review your webinar? with the honeymoon phase. We all found it very useful.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
Preach and
Yeah.
and do, right?
Yep. Yep, definitely. So yeah, we
Very
will,
helpful.
we'll make this available. And then Shelley, do you have anything for what's coming next, or does anybody else from our team want to talk about where we go from here? We definitely, I do want to thank everybody as well. Thank you so much for being here and for, you know, we really appreciate it. We hope it's helpful. You know, if you do have anything you want us to learn more about, please let us know, and definitely tell your friends. We hope to have more folks here next week and continue to provide some good information for you.
Yeah, and again, you know, just reiterating, if you have any follow-up questions, you're like, oh, you know, just reach out to the person who invited you, and you know, we'll put you in contact with James. Definitely, he's happy to follow up with any information. He's already said that. So next week we're gonna flip back to Joe Duran and myself for Wabash and Lake. We want to talk to you guys a little bit about the importance of messaging in general, and what's kind of like what's in it for your customers. So making your messaging very experiential based and things like that. So we don't have a true title for you just yet. You know, Google My Business and My Reviews Matter. That was pretty easy, but we need to narrow down our topic on next week's for sure. So it's going to be messaging, and then we're going to get back into Google a little bit the week after, and other upcoming topics will be, we're bringing somebody in who's going to talk about the very best and most effective social media practices, which I think is helpful to all of us. So you'll kind of see that all of this that we're doing, you know, we're really trying to create, you know, almost a pot of information for you to, you know, decide what you need in your own businesses. So next week it'll be same time, same place. So we'll send you out the information, or you can reach out to that person and get the information as well. But again, thank you for being a part of this. And on behalf of all of us, we really hope that you were able to gain something out of this that will help strengthen
Definitely
your
did.
brand on the other
Thank
side.
you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
Really helpful.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you guys feel like you want to invite anybody else, we've been capping this at about 20, but we're open to expand as long as it's beneficial. So if we get 30, okay. We just want to make sure that everybody's able to ask a question, get an answer that they need, and not feel like they're just a participant. Want to make sure they're part of the conversation. So feel free to invite everyone who can, and yeah, we'll keep doing this. Thank you.
All right. Hey, real quick, what is the YouTube channel?
We can share that. It should be Gig
Okay.
Strategic. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll email that out to everybody as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Mimi.
Hi, John.
Hi, Mimi.
Oh,
How
hi,
are you?
sweetie.
Hello.
Aw.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
It's
good
that
for you.
time.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thank you all.
appreciate
All
it.
right.
Later.
Thanks,
Thanks so
everyone.
much.